Hello and welcome to the University of Law. In today's video I am looking at my top 5 moments from Power of the Doctor that was broadcast just a few days ago. So before we start, I absolutely loved this episode, and obviously it's the centenary of the BBC, so it's a big event story, but I think a lot of us kind of also see it as a sort of nice little prequel to the big 60th celebrations next year. So really, and Chibnall's done this for us, it really, it's kick-started the party. The party started now, and we're ready to embark on those 60th anniversary celebrations this time next year. So for me, this has really opened up those 60th celebrations. So that being said, and I'm working chronologically through the episode here with the Guardians of the Edge. Now, obvious reasons. I'd heard rumours that we were getting the 1st, 6th and 7th Doctors in this episode. I thought perhaps the 5th because Tegan's in there, but I wasn't expecting the 8th Doctor back. I thought that was fantastic. What's great about this is that this episode is Jodie Whittaker's final episode of Doctor Who, and to have a big multi-Doctor story would have taken away from the fact that it's her final episode. That would have been unfair. However, it is the centenary of the BBC. It is celebrating something big, and what Chris Chibnall has done is absolutely wonderful. It was a great way of having all of those actors back in a way that makes sense, and in a way that also makes sense that it doesn't take up too much time. It's a quick little scene, and it's not the finale either. It's not stealing her final moments, her final heroic actions. It fitted nicely in the middle of the episode, giving her counsel. And I'm not sure whether he's heard it or not, but it's very similar to the concept in Zagreus, when the 8th Doctor, I should say, finds himself dead, and he's in the sort of netherworld of regeneration and meets his 5th, 6th and 7th selves, giving him the strength to return to the world of the living. And that's kind of what happens here. But it's just great stuff, and they all got, if you counted it, it's not a lot of time, but it just felt like a nice long scene where every Doctor got some time. And what's wonderful is that for the 6th, 7th Doctors, this is the first time we've seen them playing the Doctor on television in the 21st century. The last time for Colin Baker was Dimensions in Time in 93, and the last time for McCoy was the TV movie in 96. So wonderful to finally get them back. Yeah, because I just loved it. And also it means that David Bradley has now been in 2 consecutive regeneration stories. It seems that a Doctor currently can't regenerate without meeting the first Doctor. In fact, it's 3 if you count the Adventure in Space and Time 2013. Matt Smith had a sort of encounter at the end of that with him just before his regeneration, then the 12th and Twice Upon a Time, now the 13th. There's a bit of a pattern there, but it is nice for us going back to the original to reflect on it. But yeah, no, wonderful. I think once we kind of saw her in that world, I thought, was this going to be it? Then I saw his kind of figure from a distance. I thought, yeah, no, that's the first Doctor. And then to sort of see him morph, and then to see him morph into the 5th Doctor was a big surprise. And just hearing the 8th Doctor's voice was wonderful. So wonderful, wonderful moment that, as I say, celebrates 100 years, gives the fans what they want with classic Doctors, but did not detract from the 13th Doctor and her story at all. So it's the best of... I can't possibly think about how it could have been done better. So wonderful. Second moment chronologically moving along, Adric. Having the 5th Doctor and Tegan having that sort of scene together. I know we've had Big Finish audio dramas where they've met since. I believe it's The Gathering. Is it The Gathering or... yeah, it's one of those Cybermen trilogy. Anyway, I digress. It was just nice to have that scene together and just sort of mention Adric, because from a character perspective, Tegan couldn't see the Cybermen and not think of Adric, especially with all the character development she's had recently, with the Cybermen in Big Finish and reflecting on Adric's loss. And it did fit in really nicely with the fact that it is his 40th anniversary of being the 5th Doctor. It did link in with some of the themes in the 40 box set, so really a wonderful moment. But the moment, once I saw this, I knew that this moment was coming, and it's the one that I've been waiting for, which is We're Ace. It was just wonderful for these 2 characters, the 7th Doctor and Ace, to finally have that proper wrap up of their storyline, because when they walked off into the distance in 1989, we had them back for a couple of specials like Space Search Out Science and Dimensions in Time, who had Big Finish audios as well, and they've kind of touched on how she left, but it was nice to finally see it on screen in the television series, them having a proper send-off after 33 years. They got closure, and the fans got closure. Not everyone, buys the books and the audios. I know I do, and I enjoy them, but not everyone does. It was nice for people who just watched the TV series to have that properly tied up, that closure. So wonderful, wonderful scene, and a perfect opportunity. And again, done in a way that made sense, because it's a hologram. The hologram appears to whoever sees it in the way that they'd imagine seeing the Doctor, so that worked perfectly. Didn't distract, didn't take away. It was still Jodie Whittaker's episode, but it was just nice to have those little moments in there that celebrate the show and the BBC. And of course, the Fugitive Doctor also comes back in a sense that Yaz manages to trick the Master by imagining that Doctor that she's seen when the hologram appears. Just great to have more Fugitive Doctor material, really. I do find this is one of my favourite pieces of lore to come from the Chibnall era, and I'm looking forward to exploring the Fugitive Doctor more on audio. And I think what was nice was they've left it open as to, we still don't know who she is, and in some ways that's nice, because it's up to you then. Is she pre-Hartnell? Is she between Troughton and Pertwee? It is up to you now, and I like that. It's been left open, so it's a lovely piece of lore that just gets you thinking, and it can be whatever you want it to be. And then of course Companion Chronicles, just wonderful to see all those companions back for the little cameo. It's a shame that they couldn't have other companions, but of course what they've done is they've done the companions who would have been on Earth at this point in time. People like Perry wouldn't have been on Earth, so they've done everything they could with the actors who were available, but obviously just wonderful to see William Russell back as Ian Chesterton for the first television appearance since 1965. So just absolutely wonderful. That brings it full circle, and I'm hoping that this little group that's been set up now, the support group, might be called on maybe in the 60th next year. I think that'd certainly be a wonderful opportunity. I think that, plus that sort of netherworld regeneration. Obviously, we know that Tennant will be becoming Ncuti Gatwa at some point at the end of the anniversary specials, and it'd be great if we could have another visit to that sort of netherworld to get all those old Doctors back in one more time to celebrate 60 years of Doctor Who. So that's my top 5. However, I did have 6. I did have 6 top moments. So there is a bonus moment, because I thought top 6 didn't quite sound right. So my bonus choice today, I know these teeth. So first of all, the regeneration scene was wonderful. It was nice to have it outside the TARDIS. It was completely different. It all felt natural. Yaz's exit felt natural. It was quite emotional. It did every character justice. Again, I can't think of a more perfect way it could have been written or acted or directed, in fact. And the other amazing thing about it was her last words, "Tag, you're it." I can't think of anything more perfect for that incarnation of the Doctor to have said. So yeah, absolutely wonderful. And then when I heard that it was either going to be Ncuti Gatwa or David Tennant, we weren't quite sure who we were going to get at the end of the episode. And I did wonder if there was going to be maybe a surprise that they were actually tricking us by giving us 2 choices. And in fact, there was a third one we didn't know about. Maybe someone like Chris Ruckelson, or maybe a complete new actor like Hugh Grant, something like, just as a surprise. But no, it was David Tennant at the very end. And I did think, if it is David Tennant, I'd love them to do, because the obvious one was what, and they did do that. But I was hoping they'd reference, something from Barcelona, from that Parting of the Ways. But I was hoping they'd say, "I know these teeth." And the second I saw him doing that with his mouth, it was 2005 again. I was 10 years old. New teeth, that's weird. And that was just a lovely way to finish the special. The episode was absolutely faultless. It was just fun. I think Doctor Who is fun, and it should always be fun. And this episode was just one lovely slice of fun. It celebrated 100 years of the BBC. It celebrated Doctor Who as a whole. Most importantly, it celebrated this era of the show. Gave it a wonderful send-off, ready for the new era, which I'm really excited about. Of course, we've had some exciting announcements since this episode, which I'll go into in other videos. So I hope you enjoyed my top 5/6. Let me know what your favourite moments were in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.